So this nun was going through initiation, and they kind of noticed, some of the people that were working with her, that her energy and what she reflected, she didn't look very happy, like she was really enjoying her holy space with God. So they recommended to her that she go in a back room and be in the silence for 5 years. And when they asked her to come back out, they said, how are you doing now? And you can tell us, and we want you to tell us in 2 words. And she said, hard bed. And they said, well, go back into silence then. So for 5 years, she's in the silence. And she comes back out. Well, in 2 words, tell us how you are. How's your life? And she goes, cold food. Well, they send her back. 5 more years of silence. Hello. And she comes back out, and before they could even ask her, she says, I quit. And they said, it's a good thing because you've done nothing but complain since you've been here. So many choices she could have made. Life's amazing. God's great. I'm blessed. When it comes to 2 words, there's lots of choices. But she never allowed her energy, her conversation, her words to shift in the space that was wanting to come into her life and into her heart. In what ways, when you think about your energy, the language that you use, the words that you say, how are you still modeling old ways of being or old ways of thinking? How are you modeling with the words that you use about sickness, about death, about relationships, about unconditional love? Are you still toting old words and old language that no longer applies to your life? I've always said, since I've been in ministry, small people talk about other people. Ordinary people talk about ordinary things and events. I'm always fascinated that somebody wants to talk about what the weather is going to be, several weeks from now. What do you think the weather is going to be? I don't know, dude. Weather.com. It's like, the weather, yes. Whether or not we're going to feel good because something might happen way over there. Ordinary people talk about ordinary events, which is the main thing that I want to speak about today. And yet great minds talk about great things. Actually, great minds have great expectations. Can you feel that? People that live in an amazing life expect amazing things, and they use language accordingly. Because it all has to be in alignment, you see. It all has to match what we're saying, how we're living, our 5th principle of unity, through our thoughts and what else? Words. Through our thoughts and through our words and through our actions is the way we show people that we believe that God is all there is, and we are all of that because we are made of the same thing. Yes? And so it's in that consciousness and in that space. I think it's so divine, as always, a divine appointment, that of all the days that Don Bliss and his wife Donna could come from Greenville, South Carolina to happen to be here on this day, happens to be when we're doing the 7-week series of my book, When Did You Die? 8 Steps to Stop Dying Every Day and Start Waking Up. And when I met Don Bliss, I worked for Michelin Tire Corporation. I was already dying a lot. I had been so discounted by experiences and family and told I was going to go to hell, and a lot of that story we don't need to do today because I've talked about it many times, or you can buy the book. But having said that, here I am working at Michelin Tire, and I am a weary soul. I'm drinking and playing softball, and I'm good at both. And I'm a mess. I'm a mess. And here comes this guy, like of Eastern philosophy, and starts talking to me about this place called Unity. He was all positive and all that and smiling at me. And I was like, what in the world is he after? Then he invited me to his home and he showed me how he could do yoga and he could do his foot on top of his head. And I thought, this is not Southern Baptist. And I'm elaborating because I want you to get the point. Many people come into your lives to show you a new way of living, a new way of being. And we're so busy proving to ourselves and hanging on to what isn't working that we're determined to push them away. So many people walk into these doors of better living, a better life, how to get into recovery and don't numb your life out and be attentive and be accepting and love everything and everyone. And some people come in here and find something wrong with a pew or a bulletin or just the least little thing that then they go on their way and go, this stuff doesn't work. And I publicly wanted to acknowledge Donald Bliss because I put him through heck. I did, for a long time. And he came back time after time, and he said, you are a piece of work. They still say that here. But he said, you have work for God to do. And you need to come with me to Unity. And that's how my life began. My real life. I just want to say thank you for that. And I was visiting him last year. He can still put his foot on top of his head. But this is the biggest piece in our spirituality for us to get, is how our shadows of old language and old belief and old experience and projecting onto people that they're not real, or projecting old trust issues or old abandonment issues, or projecting different people that we've known that have not survived cancer or different things, and bringing all that in when life is really urging and longing for us to have a newer experience within ourselves. It was very evident at the Parliament of the World Religions. I was so honored to be joining so many people there that spoke on what they felt passionately spirituality meant to them, or in many of their cases, what religion meant to them. And they felt that we had come together in a great way, 10,000 people, from different faiths, from different walks of life, and it was peaceful, it was cordial. We focused on things that we really wanted to see in the world, like energy of climate change and war and violence and all those kind of things. It was very, very, very powerful, and maybe at another time I'll talk about it more extensively. And that being said, but it's still very interesting because it's still evident that we have so much more work to do. We have so much further to go, and not a way to be discouraged, but in a way of accepting that we are healed by what we turn towards, not what we turn away from. And one of the things that I made reference to was in religiosity, how it isn't okay to be a gay person. And there are talks that were going around in that particular conference, and they were talking about God is love. While at the same time, that particular person of that particular faith has been totally shunned because of choosing who they want to love. We have more work to do. Yes? We have more work to do. There are people that are giving the great talks, while at the same time they are conveniently dismissed altogether and selective in what God made. It's like they've never read Genesis. You know, For God so loved the world. That's not it. That's another chapter. Excuse me. In the beginning, God. I'm here. I just left my body a while ago. In the beginning, God. I know that chapter. And it goes probably on purpose. And God created man and woman and the herd and the fish and everything. And so many people are like, God just made a few people. And God made the people in the United States. And God made that group of people, while missing out on the same God that made you, the same God that made me, the same God that made us, the same God that made the essence of unity, made all living things. And for the people on the planet that deny all living things, they are disconnected. They are drained. Because how can you close your mind, your heart, your space, your beingness from 75% of the other creations on the planet? It's kind of like somebody giving you a toy with no batteries. It's kind of like somebody buying you a gift but never plugging it in the wall, because you are negating the ability to tap into all the power that is available to you. Does this connect? Do you get that? And one of the things that I've noticed, and a lot in the unity movement, is because we're so clear we want to be positive, that we want to be cautious about not being negative, that often we don't deal with the realm of truth. Truth sets us free. Sometimes we don't like it. Sometimes it may make us upset. But the truth sets us free. Say that with me. The truth sets us free. Now, I've been through many highs and lows in my life, and may go through more highs and lows in my life. The distinction is, when I'm low, I'm high. Not like that. In a vibration. In a way of vibration. There's a difference. You go through the ebb and flow. You go through the high and you go through the low. But when you're low, you don't need to return to old language, old complaining, old blaming everybody else. Oh, it's everybody's fault. Oh, the devil made me do it. Good luck with that. Oh, this. And blaming. And by the time it's over, you're just, you can't even attract a fly. Okay? Because it's this old energy that's not the true consciousness of who you are anymore. And so it won't work. And so instead of things getting lifted and getting better, things get worse. You get that? So when you're going through the lows, you want to stay high. Not pharmaceutical high, not, grass in the yard, roll it up high, but high, like knowing that you are being destined for something amazing. High in that you know something can be created from whatever you're walking through by allowing it to walk through you and move on. Something greater within you will come out. It will be birthed. It will resurrect to something beyond what you ever knew. But it's not picking up an old map trying to get to a new location. Yes? It doesn't work. It won't ever work. It says in Scripture, to him that much is given, much is held accountable. Once you get the insight of what it's like to be in a high vibration, once you get that feeling of feeling connected and energized and part of infinity and having magic and miracles and anything's possible, and seeing the dead raise and lift up and seeing people start seeing again that are blinded by either old ideas or limitations, you can't go back to that old language, moaning, groaning, and complaining and everything and taking a whole group of people or a herd with you. It just will not be effective. It just won't work. We learn to speak the truth. We learn to say, we become so mindful of all the words that come out of our mouth because they carry power, they carry electricity, they carry energy. When Jesus was training the disciples In Matthew 10:1, here's what he said. Then Jesus, when my contact agrees to go in harmony with me, thank you. Then Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out and to cure every disease and every sickness. He gave them authority. In our society today, we are diminishing our authority. We do not water down our prayers. We do not water down our affirmations. Oh, dear Lord, if I could just feel a little better, or just a little tad better than what I felt like yesterday. We are not watered down metaphysics. We stand in a place that says we envision a world that embodies and embraces and lives unity. We envision a world where anybody that is hungry on the planet will be fed. We envision a world that anyone that is into dis-ease or discord will be lifted to a higher vibration, and the truth alone will set them free. We are living in a world where people are alive, no longer part of the walking dead. We envision teenagers and young people that through looking at us as the older and the elder, that they will see hope, that they will see truth, that they will see vibrancy. We envision a world that there are no isms. It simply is. There's no racism, there's no gayism, there's no almost isms. There is just the presence and power of what is possible in our universe. That declaration of knowing the truth. Can you feel it?
Yes, amen.
We were given authority to heal disease, discord, and energy. We were given that authority. So maybe we are having a John of God meeting today.
Yes, amen.
But how do we raise our awareness that we come together collectively? We see something greater. We know it's true because we're in harmony with it. Our head's not, including mine, because we go, yes, we can do this. If we just look measurably of how far all of us have come in our humanity, then we know that God can work effectively in everything in everyone else's lives, yes?
Yes.
Because we know that. But then we want to be mindful when we drive home, back at the office, back in life, that we continue to hold that same vibration of energy and love. It is the truth that sets us free. God's amazing. Life's profound. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being on this journey with me. God bless you. Thank you.